Welcome to the South Australian Wine Industry's Fit4WORK module, Mind Your Health. There are lots of different factors that can influence how well we feel at the end of each work day and how comfortable we feel whilst at work. Working in vineyards has the benefit of being outdoors in the fresh air, but also exposes us to heat, long working hours, physically demanding work, and the need to work on uneven and sometimes hilly terrain. These factors can make a big difference on how we feel at the end of each day and can increase our risk of injury. It can also put us at risk of harming another worker. In this module, we will look at how these factors can affect your health and know how to identify the warning signs. We'll then learn what you can do to manage the risks, work safely, and keep yourself fit for work. It's all about minding your health. During this module, we will be covering the following points: heat stress, fatigue management, and fitness and exercise. Heat stress and dehydration form part of a continuum of heat-related illness caused by the effect of being out in the heat for long periods. Signs of heat stress and dehydration include heat rash, muscle cramps, lightheadedness, dizziness or fainting, dry mouth or thirst, reduced concentration, and confusion. In severe cases, these symptoms can progress to heat stroke, which is a medical emergency. The signs of heat stroke are hot, dry, flushed skin, convulsions, loss of consciousness, high body temperature, and cardiac arrest. If not managed, it can result in permanent brain damage or death. Whilst work in hot temperatures is the primary contributor, other factors may also contribute to the risk. These include the amount of air movement, your clothing, the humidity levels, the physical activity being performed, being acclimatized to the weather, radiant temperature of surroundings, and the air temperature itself. But there are ways that you can reduce your risk of heat stress. Here is Kenny talking about what he does to reduce his risk.
Dealing with heat stress. The best ways I find personally to deal with heat stress are starting early in the morning on days that are going to be extreme heat and finishing early in the afternoon. It's also important to wear the appropriate clothing for the job you're doing. If you can wear shorts and a loose fitting top so as not to feel too much heat flowing through you. Also be aware of the humidity, as sweating can lead to dehydration without really knowing about it. When it comes to dealing with the heat of the day, our company decides to have a rotation of workers, so some people are out in the heat for minimal hours and then swapped. It's also important that every workstation has a cool water vending machine so people can keep rehydrated. We also like to wear wide brim hats to keep the sun off your head, and on the hottest of days we like to be in the workshop or somewhere where it's a bit cooler for you.
So, when keeping hydrated, make sure water is easily accessible and drink at least 1 cup of water every 15 to 20 minutes. Consider using rehydration drinks such as Hydrolyte, juices or sports drinks such as Gatorade or Powerade to replace fluids. And avoid energy drinks that contain high levels of caffeine like Red Bull and Mother. They can increase your levels of dehydration. Wear a wide-brimmed hat and cooling scarf to keep your body temperature down. Use natural shade from nearby trees or other fixed structures for breaks, or erect a shaded area such as a shelter or shade cloth to keep out of the sun. Take extra rest breaks in a cool shaded area. Apply and reapply sunscreen, and always remember to pace yourself. Fatigue is another hazard which can greatly influence our ability to perform work. It's more than just feeling tired and drowsy. Fatigue is a state of mental or physical exhaustion which reduces a person's ability to perform work safely and effectively. It can be caused by a combination of work-related and non-work-related factors, such as prolonged mental or physical activity, sleep loss, and/or disruption of your internal body clock. The long hours and consecutive days' work of the vintage season are therefore a particular concern. Fatigue can affect your safety at work by reducing your alertness and increasing the risk of errors and injuries. It's important to look out for signs in yourself and your workmates, which can include excessive yawning or falling asleep at work, short-term memory problems and lack of concentration, impaired decision making, reducing hand-eye coordination, headaches, dizziness, blurred vision, and the need for extended sleep on days off. So what can you do to manage the factors that can influence your risk of becoming fatigued? Firstly, be aware of the signs of fatigue and listen to your body. It takes discipline to manage fatigue and sleep debt over more and more consecutive days or nights at work. Here's Kenny talking about what he does at work to manage fatigue during vintage.
It's important to always take regular breaks during the middle of the night. We tend to have one break every 4 hours for half an hour, so as everyone can have a bit of a rest to get away from working in the dark. It's also important to keep your food up and your fluids up, as you don't normally eat properly when you're on a night shift because everything seems to be upside down. It's also, when you get home, it's important to sleep and not carry on with trying to do your normal duties of mowing the lawn, doing the washing. It's more important to get sleep and then wake up feeling refreshed than waking up feeling worse and having to come into work. It's also important to make sure your buddies that you're working with are awake as well. A bit of chat, a bit of banter during the middle of the night seems to keep everyone on cue and acts for a happy workplace, and that way you can make sure your buddies are okay.
In some cases, it may be best to take a nap for 15 to 20 minutes or sleep and have meals on site. Talk with your employer about structuring your work week to have a less physically demanding day in the middle of the week, rotating your job tasks with other workers or taking a day off work if needed. Look at ways to avoid lengthy travel after a long shift at work. Team up with a friend or use on-site accommodation for sleep. Try to take caffeine strategically when you really need to stay awake, not continuously throughout the shift, and avoid taking it within 4 hours of sleeping. Limit the amount of overtime you work. Allowing your body to rest and restore its energy levels is far more important than the financial rewards and risk of injuring yourself or someone else by working significant overtime. To improve the quality and length of your sleep, manage your environment at home by aiming to have some calm, quiet time before sleeping. Reduce noise distractions or block out noise and avoid exposure to bright light within an hour before you go to bed. This includes the bright screens from mobile phones, tablets, and computers. And avoid drinking some or a lot of alcohol to relax when you get home from work. Here's Kenny again, with a few other tips he uses to get the sleep he needs.
After completing a night shift, I find it's always best to go home, try to have some food to get in your belly so you can actually rest sustainably, because there's nothing worse than having a broken sleep during the day because you seem to be hungry all the time. Other important factors are keeping the room dark, which I use roller shutters at home to keep my bedroom dark, and try to eliminate as much noise as you can so you can get the rest that's needed before the next shift. It's also important to realise, I know the family's running about, going to school, things like that. Try not to be up and helping them. It's much more beneficial to be asleep so that you're a good worker at the start of your next shift.
Now let's look at your overall fitness and how exercises can help you cope with the demands of your work. Your overall level of fitness can play an important role in how well you perform your work, cope with the effects of heat, and minimise your level of fatigue. Given the nature of vineyard work, it is important to consider your cardiovascular fitness, your strength to perform pruning and harvesting work, and balance and stability to walk on uneven surfaces. It is important to train your body just like an athlete does. The more trained your body is, the easier it feels to perform the tasks day in, day out. Just like a car with a big engine can go faster than a car with a smaller engine, your muscles, heart and balance can all be improved to do more work more easily. Before you start an exercise program, it is recommended that you consult a medical professional, such as a doctor or physiotherapist, to ensure that the exercises are appropriate for you. To train your cardiovascular system, the part of your body that pumps blood and nutrients to muscles and other parts of your body, try an activity that increases your heart rate and effort level, also known as your huff and puff level. Exercising at a level that makes it difficult to talk is a good starting point. It could be walking at a brisk pace, jogging, riding a bike, or playing a sport. Likewise, doing exercises that work your upper and lower body strength will help you with your work tasks. It could include doing some planking, push-ups, lunges and squats. It is also important to listen to your body to prevent overdoing it. Ease off the exercises or even stop if you experience pain. Build up your tolerance by gradually increasing the number of repetitions or by decreasing the speed of the exercise. And consider using a yoga mat on the ground to improve your comfort. Working on your balance and ankle stability is another great exercise to do. Try standing on one leg at a time for as long as you can without wobbling. Then progress the exercise to stand on one leg and then bend your leg slightly to lower your body. Try doing 5 repetitions each leg and slowly build up to 10. Bridging is another great exercise to build your hip stability and leg strength. Lie down on your back on a flat surface. Raise your hips off the ground as far as you can. Hold for 3 to 4 seconds and then lower. Repeat this 5 to 10 times. If you can do this easily, try progressing the exercise to pushing up with one leg while the other leg is held straight off the ground. It is important to start somewhere with these exercises. Try a few of them slowly and gradually build up over time. Starting them when you are already tired may not produce the best results. Work together as a team and motivate your workmates to stay fit and healthy. This will make it easier to mind your health. Go home feeling well and return to work the next day feeling fit. So let's recap what we have covered in this module. Be aware of the warning signs of heat stress and fatigue. Manage your work to avoid working in the direct heat of the sun. Protect yourself by resting in the shade, wearing protective clothing, wide-brimmed hats and sunscreen. For fatigue management, maintain food intake and keep hydrated. Consider your home environment. Don't overcommit to home tasks. Eliminate noise and bright screens. Drive home safely or use on-site accommodation. Keep your body fit and strong. And look out for your mates. You could save their life. Thanks for participating in this Fit for Work module on Mind Your Health. For us to be safe, everybody, every job, every day, we all have to take responsibility. You've only got one body and it's under your own care. What are you going to do differently to look after it, now and into the future?